Mr. Garagos, you were talking about the fact that you think that the ratings drive the story. I look at it the other way. I think the story drives the ratings. I think the story is the pictures, the characters, the individuals, and the details. And when people, like Andrew said, somehow relate to it, then it becomes an issue for everybody, and then the ratings follow the story. I don't think the ratings bring the story. I guess the point I'm trying to make is the story brings the ratings. And we now live in a society where you go up to your hotel room, you've got 65 or 95 choices on what you're going to watch. I've been at seminars and I've heard Walter Cronkite talk about the fact that in his day there were 3 networks and PBS, and they could drive what everybody thought and everybody watched because there were not many choices. Right now, I believe we're in a society where, as a journalist, many of our decisions are based upon what the people at home want to watch. So I guess I throw it out for everybody's consideration that it's the story, not the ratings, that drive whether it becomes a high-profile issue.
I don't know that I agree with that in this sense, because what I see happening or have seen happen in a number of these cases is that, and it started actually when I was representing Gary Condit, when the tabloids put something on their cover and it sells, then it's a very short jump from the tabloid to Court TV or Fox. And if Court TV or Fox runs with it, then the rest of the cable channels run with it, and by the very next day, the networks have got it on the morning shows, and they have to have it because they don't want to be scooped, they don't want to have any problem, and then the mainstream print media follows along right there, and they feel compelled to do it. When you say that it's a matter of telling the story, I take great exception to that because I've never seen, at least in my experience, great storytellers out there who are telling these stories. What happens is somebody says, oh my God, I mean, it's because, I've watched it happen now, where they say, according to the National Enquirer, and then blah, 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 which something that is totally—
I don't think I've ever said that. Go ahead.
Patently false. No, but you're somewhere downstream from where that happens. It jumps from the Enquirer, it goes to Court TV, which has become, I think, an abysmal outlet. I think Court TV is nothing but a cheerleading rant for the prosecution, and not very good at that. And once they run with it, it infects, if you will, like a virus, cable, and then everybody else follows along. That's a problem. I don't consider that storytelling. I consider that almost like a gangbang.
But I'm talking about the story specifically. Wow, that's tough to follow. The National Enquirer, you would probably agree with me, has issues that sell more than others. Taking your National Enquirer example. And there are issues and stories that don't sell.
Yeah, but the National Enquirer, the problem is National Enquirer issues that sell is when they make up stuff. I mean, there is a reason that Gary Condit does not have to work ever again, because the National Enquirer makes up stuff. And they do it repeatedly, and they just bank on the fact that only so many people are going to be able to successfully sue them or have the stomach for it. When they're telling the story that you're talking about, it's a false story. It's a made-up story. It's patently false, yet it gets reported and it becomes an urban legend or an urban myth before you can do anything about it.
Tony, I just would like to say, I think it's a shame. I don't know if it's a chicken and the egg thing. You're saying chicken, egg, I'm saying egg, chicken. But the shame is that the resources devoted to these stories, which I do not think merit the coverage they get, could be devoted towards telling stories, capturing audiences about issues that really do have impact on the lives of people. Laci Peterson's death was tragic to her family and to those who loved her. It didn't have an impact on people in Colorado. It didn't affect the lives of people in Colorado. There are hundreds of legal stories every day that have an impact on the rest of us. And it's a shame that the resources devoted to, you could bring brilliant minds in every weekday night on these talk shows and have them talk about some of those issues instead of having them fight about, who is more guilty. And it's a shame.
I would agree with Mark when we get into the chicken egg some of the time, and that is how there can be a lull in a story, and it can be driven once again. And this really hit home to me a few weeks ago after the first week of Katrina. and my wife and I are watching television, and Greta Van Susteren shows up in New Orleans. Before Greta could say anything, my wife turns to me and says, "I think Natalie has floated ashore in New Orleans."
Well,
I'd
you know,
like to
we
hear
used to have
comments.
Birgit is here, and we used to have a expression that when we come in the morning, in the Peterson case, and it would be, well, what would Greta say? And that would be kind of determined exactly what the judge's mood was going to be that day, because he didn't watch it, but his wife did, according to him, and then everything flowed from there.